Welcome back everybody to the soon-to-be forge. I'm here in my tool shed that I'm upgrading to a forge, so that's why I say soon-to-be, but another video on that. What I'm going to be working on today is, back over here in a box I have a Devil Forge from DFSW, I think it, no, that is the shoe store. DFS? I don't know. I'll put a link in the description below. I got it off eBay, $170 for a double burner forge, and today's kind of like getting it together, looking at the parts, painting on the rigidizer over the insulation, and kind of my first impressions of it. I'll get it fired up and we'll see how it performs. Alright, so I got everything unboxed. We've got everything here. We've got the Devil Forge here from DFS, I think it is. I got it off eBay for about 170 bucks. I'll put a link in the description so you can see exactly what it is. It's a 2-burner. Here we've got our burners with the chokes to control the amount of oxygen going into the propane. Shut off valve, looks like. Got 2 fire bricks to lay at the bottom. This is a round forge. It comes with, we've got the fittings for the propane pipes, the valve. This is spare insulation that you will stick in here once we get the pipes in, whatever we want to call them. I guess they're pipes. That's what I'll call them. And put the insulation in here. This will stop the heat from getting out. And it comes with this refractory coating rigidizer. What that is you mix this with, it's a fine powder, kind of like a ceramic. It covers the ceramic fiber, and we'll mix that with water. It comes with instructions. We'll mix that with water and basically paint it over this ceramic fiber that just protects the insulation, and you don't get the fibers flying around your shop when you're forging. So that's basically what it comes with, and I'll get started on mixing this. It's got the instructions actually on the bag here. It says 300 grams of rigidizer and 210 milliliters of water, and to mix for 15 minutes and then basically paint it on. So I'll get started on that, show you that process. Alright, we're gonna start mixing this rigidizer paint into the forge, and I apologize about the rain. I won't talk too much just so it doesn't get on your nerves, but we've got a kitchen scale here, and I realized conveniently enough they give you 300 grams exactly, or pretty much right on the nose in the, I'm sure you can't see that, but got 300 grams in this bag. And what I'm going to do is measure out 210 milliliters of water. Don't need that. And then got my paint stick here I'm going to stir with. That's about right. And we'll throw this rigidizer and it says to stir for 15 minutes, and then this has to be really stirred up good to get a good even coat throughout an even strong coat throughout your forge. So here we go. about 8 minutes in of this stirring, believe it or not. I don't know if you really need the full 15 minutes, but the last thing I want to do is kind of jeopardize the integrity of the forge or the sturdiness of it, so I'm going to follow the instructions. Alright, we are coming up on 15 minutes finally, and I can tell a huge difference on how smooth it is. You know, I felt like I had it smooth enough after 2 minutes, to be honest with you, but you can tell a difference after 15. So what we need to do, get my forge here, and I just realized the roof is leaking. Not good. We'll scoot over. So I got some cardboard here, this is a leaf off our dining room table that we don't ever use, honestly, but I don't want to mess it up just in case. Wish I had better lighting. Apologize, I don't have any lights in this shed yet, so I'll do the best I can. Maybe I can move over to the other side by the door where there's a little more light on the floor. Alright, so this is a bit better. So I've got the rigidizer here all stirred up. Comes with a paintbrush, nice and convenient. So what we want to do is coat the inside of the forge, every inch, centimeter you can get, even the outsides here. So that's what we'll do. Now this rigidizer is pretty thin, so it feels like it'll spread pretty good, but I guess we'll find out. Oh yeah, that's not too bad. Just try to get it as even as possible. I guess once I get used to it, we'll see exactly how much I need for how much space. And it does have these little pockets. I don't know if you can see. Have these little, I guess it'd be like air pockets. Just make sure you get all of that. So I think I'm done. I'm a bit of a perfectionist, so I tried to get every little crevice I saw that was exposed. I need to clean that up because that kind of stuff will bother the mess out of me. But it's pretty easy to apply. I mean, it's real thin. The insulation isn't absorbent, really, so it spreads real easy. I mean, that was not hard at all. So next thing we need to do while it's wet is you put the fire bricks. You put the fire bricks at the bottom while it's wet, just so it prevents any sort of cracking in the future if it's dry. I mean, because it is kind of thin, you know, the bricks will crack the rigidizer here. So let me grab the fire bricks. And there is plenty of rigidizer left. You don't need it all by any means. I mean, I think I've got everywhere I need to get. I even got the holes where the propane, the flames are going to come out, where the pipes go in. I even got inside of there as much as I could. It's kind of hard with that paintbrush, but that's exposed insulation as well, so I tried my best to get up in there. So what I'll do is with that extra rigidizer I have. Of course, I didn't bring my knife out here. The extra rigidizer, I will use this insulation that comes with it. This is supposed to go around the pipes here to keep any heat from escaping while you're forging, help maintain your heat better. So I'll probably put some rigidizer on the bottom of that before I press it in. I don't know, just kind of, I want it to last. I want my forge to last as long as possible, so might as well do it right the first time. Don't drop them. Fire bricks break pretty easily, so you don't want to drop them. So we'll just, let me change. So you just, I probably need a level just because of my perfectionism, but kind of put it up to the edge and press it just slightly, you know, just to get it set in there. Then second one right there, that's not set level. All right, I'm gonna need a level because my perfectionism is gonna get the best of me here. I want to make sure my piece is level when I'm forging it. I don't know, it probably does not matter honestly, but it does to me. So let me go get a level. All right, so I couldn't find my level, so I'm just gonna have to trust my eye on it and say that's good enough. Come over here where I don't have to sit on the floor. I'm gonna go ahead and put the burners, that's what I was trying to think. I kept calling them pipes, but take my stuff here, bring it over. I've got my rigidizer, set that, insulation, and I want this facing this way. It probably doesn't matter, but this sits in here like so. Of course, you loosen up these nuts, or sorry, bolts. Loosen these up. Set the, you want your burner to be flush with the top of your forge where your insulation, oops, sorry, you can't see that. So when you put this in, you want your burner to be flush with the top of your forge, just so it's not blowing that insulation from the middle out, if that makes sense. So you want to, when you put it in, you just want it to be flush with the top, and then you'll stuff this insulation, you'll tear off little pieces, stuff it in there, and I'm going to try and see if it works to put some rigidizer in there before I do it, so that rigidizer can cure with the rigidizer I just did. So no need to wait until tomorrow, because I actually want to fire this bad boy up tomorrow. Look at that. I went to get my ratchet set and I found a level. So let's level this out. Alright, so in case you're curious, that was a 7/16 socket I used to tighten these bolts up, just so you can add it to your list of things you need. And now the insulation, you just supposed to go in there. So let's see the best. It looks like I'll need to tear off little pieces to make it fit. I want it to be as kind of compact as possible, but I wonder if I should have done this before I tightened the bolts down. I'll think about that. I actually just realized if I rest it on this crossbar here, which I was trying to make it flush just by holding it, but I just realized if I let it rest on this crossbar, then they're just below flush, which is, I would say it's okay, because the flame would be blowing below the insulation. So that's an easy way to set it in there and tighten it up, assuming that all of them come the same exact way. But thought you might want to know that. Pretty cool and convenient. So we put this insulation in here and see what happens. Yeah, it's pretty tight. I'll have to cut a third of that off at least. Well, that took a little longer than I had anticipated, but I'm happy with how it turned out. One thing that didn't show in the box, my daughter hit it over here on this nail that was kind of hanging. It's the hose for the propane, to go between the propane and the burner. And tomorrow, once this rigidizer finishes curing, I'll hook everything up, fire up the forge, and see how awesome it is. But what I did, I know as you noticed, oops, sorry about that, I got the rigidizer, which was not in the instructions. I haven't seen it in any videos, but I just thought it was kind of a good idea to put it at the top there just to create a good seal. And I only used one roll of the insulation, so I have an extra roll. I will save this, just kind of keep it on a shelf or something, save that, so just in case I ever need to take these burners off, I will, it'll ruin the rigidizer, so I'll be able to, re-insulate it if I ever need to switch out these burners for whatever reason. I won't have the rigidizer, of course, but it said you can store it for a while. I don't know what a while means, but maybe if I put it in a Ziploc bag, kind of airtight, maybe it'll last. I don't know. But anyways, here's the forge in all her beauty there. Wish it was a little lighter. I apologize. Kind of a cloudy day, but that's what we're working with. I got the rigidizer all in there, and this is set up for today. Tomorrow I'll come back and finish off this forge, hooking it up, fire it up, see what it burns like. I'm probably going to take this off, just personal convictions. I'm a Christian, so that I don't really want that on my forge. I didn't have a problem buying the forge from these people just because I thought it was a good deal for a 2-burner forge. It is a good quality feeling. I mean, it's not terribly thick, but it is solid enough, I think, for what I want to do. So yeah, that's it. I'll be back tomorrow and we'll fire this bad boy up.